Welcome back to the Spiritual Uplevel Podcast. I'm your host, Jeri Cristine, and today I have with us again my most favorite guests and my most frequent guests, Richter and Kalyn Lapidus. And they're my co-hosts with the retreats that we do in Arizona. We have one coming up in June of this year. And so we just wanted to talk about it. Our theme is a little bit different this time. Our theme is detox because I don't know about all of you guys, but I know I need to detox. So we were just talking about that off camera. After the hurricanes here in Florida, there's mold everywhere and it is affecting me. So I'm looking forward to this retreat and the time leading up to it. And so let's jump right into it. Kim, do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. I love the topic of detox because there is so much in our life that we accumulate that um, affect us in ways that we don't even realize. Mold also really affects me. So I'm a big candidate for detoxing because it affects me so greatly. But there's so much in life that we get to detox from. And the weekends when we have away, we go from Thursday night to Sunday morning, and the June retreat is going to be in Flagstaff, Arizona again. And it is a complete pull out of our life and in this community, in this area. So we're able to detox from all the negativity in our life. We're able to detox from our phones. We're able to detox from a lot of the emotional things that we deal with on the daily basis. There's a lot of the detox with the food that we do. And so it's amazing to be able to pull out those things that create the negative energies in our life so that way then we can be a little bit better balanced with the feminine and the masculine, with the food, with just all of the energy that goes into it. So lots of movement and refreshing for what the new things that are going to be coming.
One of the things I always look the most forward to at any retreat, and especially this one, is just that, like you said, detoxing from your phone, detoxing from regular life and all the responsibilities and everything that goes with that. And just like that turning inward and coming back, home to yourself about what's true for you. What do you still want in your life? Because when you remove something from your life, you got to fill it up with something good, or else it just fills right back up with all the old bad stuff, right? And this gives us a good opportunity to really consciously choose what is it that we want in our life moving forward. So,
Yeah, we
Yeah,
get to disconnect and connect.
yes,
So, and we
exactly.
don't do that in this hyper active, like, we're all wanting more information, and you can just put all that down and you can just really connect and give yourself a second to even be like, whoa, what, who am I? Like, holy cow.
Some of us have really lost track of that, haven't we? And
Yeah.
Kaylin, you said earlier, it's because I easily think of like a food detox, like I'm gonna cleanse or whatever. But it's also that emotional, mental, and physical cleansing. It's all of the above. And
All of it. For most of us, just to not even be scrolling social media for those few days is a detox. And not because if you think about it, when we're scrolling that social media, we're getting thousands of different perspectives, even if you're not even stopping. You're just getting thousands of different perspectives all at once, and it just completely clouds what our source connection is telling us. And so just even that alone, just we come in, and then that alone's a detox, not to mention all the body work, being up in the mountains and the mountain fresh air because we're in beautiful Flagstaff, and then the food, which we will talk about, that I purposely do to, you know, have it a full picture because food is gigantic because you are what you eat. So
why don't you just go ahead and talk about that now that you've brought it up? And I just want to say for the people who haven't heard us talk together before, Kaylin does raw vegan food. And if that sounds awful to you, it sounded awful to me and Kim the first time we tried it. And now it's like our favorite part of the whole weekend. Like Kim and I facilitate the other stuff, the body work, the coaching, the movement. And we both are like, what are we having for lunch today? We need replenished so bad. And Kalyn's food is so much more than you could ever imagine. I guarantee, like my husband, for example, is such a meat eater, like meat and potatoes. We're Midwest people, right? And I'm like, you have to try Kalyn's food. I promise you wouldn't even like miss what you're used to. It's so amazing. And the cleansing lasts for so long afterwards, right? Right, Kim? Like you want to just eat healthy for so long afterwards. So good.
It's
So
so
go ahead
true.
and tell us all about how amazing it is, Kalyn.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens when you start taking care of yourself. Like that's why there's so many people that are like, you think when I worked out, then I'd want to eat more unhealthy, but no, that creates you wanting to eat healthy. So it's all these little choices that go together, right? So you just spent this weekend taking care of your soul, and then you ate so well, and so you go home, and then that lasts for a while, and then life sets in. So if you haven't made it a lifestyle, then it's hard to, it's hard to maintain, but you can do it. You can do it for sure. So the food, I do a lot of, raw foods but we do a lot of cooked too, but all of it will be 100% clean, plant-based, no gluten, no processed sugar, no eggs, no soy, no dairy, and that's also no meat, and that just gives our body a break, and our livers specifically. So our livers is what really causes all the problems. Like that's why mold affects us, or anything, any trigger outside of us is usually because we all have stagnant livers at this point, because we're just living in a hyper toxic world, and just so many emotional stuff happening too. So that's what I really focus on. We just cleanse the liver. And so this one specifically, we'll be doing stuff like that. Like we'll wake up, and start the day with a juice, celery juice most likely, or some sort of green juice, and then move on to like a heavy metal detox smoothie or a liver rescue smoothie. And then lunchtime will, be some sort of amazing salad or something. I haven't put the menu together yet. And maybe with like some sort of, raw vegan nut cheese, or, and then a delicious dressing. And then dinner will go along the same lines. Maybe it will be completely raw. Like last time I made a cannelloni. I won't do it again this time. I try to make it. I make the menu fresh each time because we have a lot of repeat people. But and then we always end the night with a clean raw dessert. So I always tell people, because I do cleanses here for my community, and I'm like, this isn't a torture cleanse. Like cleansing, I don't do cleanses that where I'm starving to death and I'm miserable. No, you can cleanse by eating so much wholesome, real food. You're just eating life, and so you get life, and you don't have to starve. So you're going to be very well fed. So don't let, and our world makes us think that like detox has to be painful. And of course, there's growing pains, there's some labor pains in there through all of it. But you're going to be really well fed. You're going to feel good. And then you're going to start pooping a lot, which you need to.
I'm
Right?
so glad you said that, actually. One, that it doesn't have to be hard, because we are taught that it has to be hard when we cleanse. But two, yeah, the pooping. I was like, should we talk about that? It's my podcast. We can
Healthy
talk
people love talking about pooping.
about so so I have noticed before that sometimes with this switch in food, people have a little trouble in the beginning with going. Like they get a little stopped up and gassy. And what causes that? Is that like the that detox process where your body's like, what is this?
Well, we're eating so much fibrous foods. Fruits and vegetables are the best fibrous foods, right? And leafy greens. And what those do in your bowels is they go through and they like scrub the outsides. And so they're cleaning up all this old stuff. And we're so used to just eating like meat and cheeses and stuff, which actually just goes through your bowels like a sludge, and it doesn't have that cleaning aspect. So these vegetables go in and they're like scrubbing the sides of the lining of your bowels, and so it's bringing out old stuff. And then also most of us, which is so disgusting, have like 20 pounds of baggage in our bowels. And so So what happens if you have this old stuff and you have this fibrous stuff wanting to push it out, and then it just kind of gets stuck. So you go through this phase of, and also, like it's a pretty radical change for everyone. Like if someone was coaching with me, we would go a lot slower. We'd be like, okay, incorporate this, incorporate this. They show up for the weekend and we're doing it all at once, which there's nothing wrong with, but you just go through a little bit of you can go through a little bit of the backup because of that, like, and get bloated. But then by like the next day, everyone's like, woo, smooth sailing, and then it was great. And even a week after, I saw someone, she's like, I'm still pooping so much. I'm like, that's good. We're supposed to. And my brother said to me once, because he's like, we were talking about poop, and I'm like, oh, I poop like 3 to 4 times a day. He's like, you need to see a doctor. I'm like, no, honey, that's how it's supposed to be. Like animals, your dog eats and poops. Like we're supposed to do the same thing. And I don't say every day it's like 3 to 4 times, but it's definitely like 2 plus. I mean, where I've gotten my body, I poop a ton. And
That's
that's
so
how it's
awesome
supposed to
because
be.
that, as funny as it might sound, like that's exactly what you want because you don't want to be holding on to that old stuff.
No.
Oh, and switching that back to the emotional and energy side, it's the same thing. Like we get so backed up with stuff that we don't release, like so many people tell me they haven't cried, they don't cry. How many times in a year they could count exactly how many times they've cried. They're stuffing that stuff in there and not releasing it. And once you start
Yep.
releasing it, man, I was one of those people that could tell you how many times I cried. And now I'm like, I cried 10 minutes ago.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's
But it
like good
feels so
cry
much
too.
better. Yeah. It
Yeah.
feels so much better. Everything else processes through so much more easily.
So I have a question then, Kalyn. If we have women who are listening who want to attend the June retreat and they poop every like once every 3 days, obviously that's, going to be quite a jump to 3 to 4 times a day. Is there something or some things that you would recommend that the women start doing over the next couple of months before coming to the retreat in June, just to kind of better prep their bodies for this type of detox?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'll say that I poop this much because of all the years of work I've done. No one's going to show up and start pooping like 3 to 4 times a day, right off the bat. So hopefully my goal would be like if you're every 3 days, maybe every 2 days, then once every day, and then more. So you're not going to just like show up and don't worry, no one's pooping their pants or it's very very safe and fine. But yeah, we should probably send out like a week before email, like things you can start. And I think we actually have it in our email, things you can start doing to just like prepare yourself emotionally and physically for the retreat. But don't be scared. This is not something to be scared of. It's just going to be just like the emotional stuff. What you're coming to find is a flow in your life, and your bowels are that flow as well. And that's it. All of it needs to be flowing, because if you're backed up in multiple places. So I think, like Jeri was saying, it's just a really good analogy for all of it because it all fits together, like you're backed up here. Where else are you backed up? I guarantee it's other places as well.
Yeah. And I want to encourage people too, if this is calling to you, just kind of sit with what areas do you want to detox? What are some things you want to let go of? Like, maybe it's caffeine, maybe coffee, maybe social media, maybe just some of the demands of your life. And like leading up to the retreat, practice a little bit, like go for a couple hours without your phone. Maybe try to reduce the coffee, different things like that. And again, like Kalyn said, we're not trying to torture you. There will be coffee there. But we might encourage you to, not be drinking it the whole entire day long. However, that's your choice, and that's part of all of our retreats too, is learning to recognize what you need and what's true for you and honoring that.
Definitely, because you have to go home and be with yourself, right? So,
Yeah.
and we're having so much fun during the retreats. It's such a good time. There's so much connection, and then you just leave feeling so alive because
Yeah.
you've made all these new friends. Your body feels so much better. You've got body work done. I don't know if we should talk about that now or at some point, but there's just so much that goes into it that leaves you feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go home and just be this better version of myself. I can just go home and be the mother, the wife, the friend, the daughter, the sister, like, so you just leave it feeling very filled and filled and ready to share your light with the world. So,
Yeah.
um,
Totally excited about that part. And
Mhm.
Kalyn and Kim and I, offer our gifts and we create beautiful spaces for transformation. We also bring in other facilitators who are extremely skilled in what they offer. And Kim, do you want to talk about who we're bringing in for this retreat?
Yes, I would. Because we want to focus on the detox for this June. The outside facilitators we're bringing in. Her name is Stephanie Kroon. She's a nutrition consultant, and she's going to be doing a foot detox for all of the women. And what's amazing about that is not only will it be pulling all of this stuff that's in our body literally out of our feet, which I probably should do a reel about that, just so all of you guys can see if you are not familiar with a foot detox, because the water is super, super clear when you start. It is literally salt and water, and when you're done with it, it's like this brown sludge. So it's like everything is just pulling out of your body that you don't need. And so while you're doing that, she has so much knowledge just about the body and detoxing parasites, any type of cleansing. And so being able to communicate with her a little bit about what you're specifically going on in life. And then the other practitioner we're bringing in is Caitlin Proctor, and she does one-on-one sessions where she moves energy. Historically, she has done virtual, and she just started doing in person about a year ago. And she's phenomenal. Both of these women are amazing. And so the movement that can happen with both of them it's really, really life-changing. And you stack that on top of what we're doing over the weekend with the breath work, the sound, the journaling, the prompts, the discussions, the food. It's pretty remarkable about what can happen from that weekend. And it's beautiful because everybody comes into this weekend with something different, right? We all have different parts of our lives. We're on different parts of our journeys. And so there's so much variety that every woman gets little pieces here and there. And it's interesting to me is that it's like not everybody just loves the aqua stretching or just loves the food. It's like, this one person, the sound bath might be the most powerful aspect. Or for one person, it might be the questioning and the journaling. For someone else, it might be the energy work that's one-on-one. You never know what you're going to need. And so because there's a large variety of those options of how we can detox our body, there's something in there for everybody. And for June, because the Flagstaff house has the indoor pool, we're going to have Jessica Huss Holland back again to do the aqua stretching. It's pretty much like PT in the water. Our bodies can only be so flexible on land, but in the water, it allows us to move in ways that we can't when we're just hanging out up here in the air. And so that allows for a lot of releasing as well.
Can I just say something about Jess? So I was like, what is this aqua stretching, right? And so we're so busy and we try to get do our best to get in for these sessions as well so we can be renewed and stuff. And I got the opportunity to go with her. I mean, I can't believe I have never had a massage in a pool before. I mean, she was like massaging me, stretching me, and my feet, I'm on my feet for like 10 to 12 hours a day, like getting all this food ready. Hard tile grounds, and she just like worked on my feet and my ankles and I mean just like went up my whole body, and then I felt like I hadn't even been standing for 10 hours. It was the coolest experience ever. One of my favorite like massage slash stretching experiences I've ever had. I cannot wait to get back in the pool with her.
I
Yeah.
want to second that because I too was like, does this really fit with our retreat? It sounds just more like physical therapy. And I also had an experience, I was able to experience being in the pool with her. And she released a knot where I hold my tension in my body between my shoulder blades. And she released that, and it hasn't come back like 3 months later. And I have never had anyone be able to release that. And I get regular massages, and it's amazing what your body can do in the pool, because I wouldn't have even thought she did anything. Like, it didn't feel like, like in a massage, it hurts so bad when they're releasing knots. And it wasn't like that. She just like kind of moved my arm, a few different ways. It didn't hurt at all. And it was so good. And probably from the release of that knot, it made me emotional. I think I might have cried for a minute, just because of all the stuff coming out from there. And I too cannot wait to experience that again.
Yeah, and
was
just her energy. She's like the sweetest person ever. And she was just
Yeah.
like woman after woman. And it was like you were her first person. I was her last, like one of her last. I think Shauna was the last. And it was like she hadn't been in the pool all day. She was just like so excited to see me and work on me. And I'm like, girl, you are amazing. And we just kept taking her food to the pool. We're like, we want to serve you, eat. We love you so much. Because she's just in the pool all day serving women. It's so amazing.
That's one thing that I find amazing about all of the facilitators, is
Yeah.
that you can tell that it's all of our passion, what we do and what we offer. And it just, continues like like no one ever seems tired.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to encourage people, because I noticed that I talked about how Kim and I were apprehensive about the food until we tried it. You and I, Kalyn, were apprehensive about the aqua stretching until we tried it. I always say I'm a stubborn mule. I like to try new things, kind of. I have to be pushed a little bit. And then I love it so much. And so I just want to encourage the ladies out there who are listening, going, oh my gosh, it sounds kind of cool, and I'm scared, or I'm not sure about that, like, just, I get it. That's me. Like, just to come and experience it. I promise you will love it.
One of the
Yeah.
benefits of that happening though, ladies, is that now when I'm like adamant and like putting my foot down about something, I know that Jeri and Kalyn will be like, okay, maybe we should listen to Kim.
I know. I
Right?
know. I did tell you last time, I was like, thank you for being so, like solid in your decision with this, because I would have missed out on something great, and
Yeah.
and a great human too.
But
She
it
is
is
a great.
hard because there's so many gifts out there, and we want this weekend to be perfect for these women. I mean, you guys, we plan for this all year long for these 4 days. So, we're all like, no, we should have this service. No, we should have this service. And so there's a lot of thought and heart that goes into this planning that we make perfect for you guys. So you're not just showing up to some like spontaneous weekend. This has been very well thought out. And a lot of heart and soul has gone into it. And yeah, we will definitely listen to all of Kim's suggestions.
I love it. Not that I'm always right, but like when I know something, it's like, nope, this is how we've got to do it. But I mean, here's the deal. There's a million different modalities out there, but like it's like we want the best of the best for these women. And it may not be, I don't want to use the word perfect though, Kalyn. It's like we're all evolving, right? And so all of us have these amazing gifts. And you can tell that with Jess in the water, she's very intuitive in the water. Like that is her gift. Like it is something that she can give to all of us that is just, it's amazing. And so to be able to find these women and these practitioners outside of just the three of us, you can tell when people are really intuitive, when they do have something really, really amazing to share with the world. And it's amazing because so many women are in our community, that we can tailor each retreat to whatever topic it is and know that we have amazing facilitators who are going to help us on this journey with these women who are showing up.
Yeah, and we have so much support. And like the weekend is, nothing's perfect, but it feels like it winds up being perfect for each individual person. Cause like just like Jeri was saying, she had that knot in her back, but Jess probably worked on her feet. I mean, she had to get to this place where this knot could release, right? And so this weekend, also, like Jeri was saying, like maybe the coaching will be your biggest thing, the food, the energy work, whatever it is, but all of it are these little footwork things to getting to your big knot that releases. So it all winds up working out because something will be impactful in different ways, but it all accumulates for that grand finale of release and connection to leave feeling full and whole and ready for your life.
And this will be our fourth retreat that we've done
I
together.
can't believe that.
I know.
That's so
And they
cool.
just keep getting better and better. Yeah, it's June 5th through 8th, 2025. And like you said earlier, it's in Flagstaff, Arizona. So it makes a beautiful vacation. Flagstaff is up in the mountains. It's not hot in the summertime. So for those of you who aren't from Arizona, it's a really nice getaway. And then you can spend some time, before or after.
And the home's on an acre?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's a little
Close
bit more
to.
than an acre, but that's the
Close.
beautiful part of it is that in the backyard, there's this great big open area with trees and deer that are hopping along. And actually, it was this past January when we were doing some ecstatic dance and movement in the main room, is when there were like 20 some deer that came up on the property that Jess was able to take a picture of from the pool.
It's so cool. I'm so excited for the nature walks in the
I know.
summer. I mean, we just have so much fun stuff to hone in and plan for these ladies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. And then also too, just in case if women are listening, they're not familiar with this yet, you can see all of the information on Vibrant Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. So vibrantliving4u.com. And there's all the information about the upcoming retreat in June.
Yeah, and you can always reach out to any of us on social media, on Instagram, on our phones if you have them or whatever. So we'll personally answer any questions you have.
So before we wrap it up, Kim, what's one thing that you wish everybody knew? All the ladies listening.
One thing I wish they would know. One thing I wish that they would do is to put themselves first. So any of the women who might be considering the retreat and they're like, oh, I can't because, Timmy has hockey or my husband has a trip and they're just putting their priorities lower and lower, that the more that you fill your cup, the more you'll be able to give to your family, to everybody in your life. And it all starts with us. So in order to help others, helping ourselves first is really it's the best way to go about it.
I'm gonna tag on that for a second. I always you say, you have to put your air mask on before you can help anybody else, right? That analogy. This weekend I watched a video where a lady said she's a doctor, and she said that 30% of older women who break their hip die quickly, like within weeks. And she said that every single time it is because they didn't take care of themselves. They put everyone else's needs before theirs, and they didn't take care of themselves. And she said, you're at the bedside, and it's usually the older daughter there with them. And they're saying to her, don't do this. Like, I don't know how I got here. I wasn't always like this, and we lose ourselves. Women lose ourselves, and we do put everyone else before us. And, maybe this speaks to you listening, but how did you get where you're at today? And how can you can come back to yourself? It just takes a little bit of um, self-love and self-care. And that's what we're here to offer and remind women of. Kalyn, what's one thing that you wish everyone would know?
I just wish everyone knew how powerful they were and that we already have all the answers within us, everything. And that's what I love about this weekend is we just get to be these facilitators that just help remind you of who you already are, what you're already connected to, just on this journey that we're all on of awakening.
That's so beautiful. That's exactly it. We're just the facilitators. We create the space to remind you how amazing and powerful you are, and that you already know all the things. You just need the space to remember. So on that note, ladies, thank you for joining me today. I look forward to continuing the conversation and seeing you guys and all of those out there listening in June.
Thanks for having us,
Thank you,
Jeri.
Jeri.